Hello and welcome to another Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix of Conway. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can get it free on itch.io. But if you want to support the people that make this game and or get the newest version earlier, you can go to the Patreon, where it's $6 a month. So, on last Let's Play, we decided to side with the maned wolf and be like, yeah, you can come on a little strong when it comes to the jokes. But also, that was the short part. The longer part is when we roll back a bit. We helped this guy by telling him, hey, sorry about your seasickness. Look over in the distance to, deal with the seasickness, which I've heard before. And also learned that he's a passenger that's going to some other place to get plants for some lordly lady or something like that. And he's a nice guy. But now, it's dinner time. Hyena. Reset face. Oh, and I did accidentally walk upon a spoiler because I was looking at the fan art gallery, and it was like, I was looking at the pictures, and it was like, oh, I didn't know that. And I guess it's a secret until we find out about that person. Anyways, you are not, for instance, accustomed to how quickly the open-air topside gives way to the oppressive darkness of the ship's interior. That's a weird way to start the sentence. I guess there's hardly any openings from the outside world, save for the hatches that are also the only source of fresh air. Fortunately, for the moment, the dominant smell is that of the fresh cooking. It's thick in the air, and you already know that it will be delicious. Of course, first you have to find out where it is. Last of the day's light flickers through the scanty windows, sending faint beams through rising steam and motes of dust. Beneath it are the shifting, dim forms of your fellow crew. The end of the room marks the door to the officer's quarters. You can see Arthur in conversation with some feline, a cheetah you have not seen before. It's not your world, anyway. You belong here, in the milieu of the other working men on the Conway. Later, the commons area is where the crew will set up their hammocks, if you understand correctly. For now, wooden crates have been set up as tables. Sailors are already occupying them, sitting, eating, playing cards, savoring the respite from the shifts to follow. On one side, tucked away in the corner by himself, Wolf has found a relatively quiet spot, though he senses it's difficult, indeed, to truly be alone with your thoughts on a ship this size. Like, I wonder how big the Conway is, like, when you take it compared to, like, ships. Because there's some that are nice and, average size. Some that are like, oh my god, this is so small. How does anybody have, like, I don't know. It's so very small. And then others that are like, wow, these are massive. Anyways, elsewhere, Samuel and Julian have found a place for themselves, apparently without having come to further blows. A few other sailors are sitting with them. You duck under a heavy beam, congratulating yourself on not discovering the sturdy wooden brace with your forehead. And now, sailor that you are, comes the most important choice of the day. With whom would you end it? With whom do you seek? Who do you seek out? When to seek out for dinner? I can read. I don't think we'd have the right to talk to Arthur. Samuel and Julian? That's definitely the thing where it's just like, Samuel, right, Samuel. That's always the pain of doing stuff sometimes, when it's like, you got limited time. I guess we'll stick with these guys since they're the most, you know. Oh, that's the cook. First, though, you need to grab your share of today's dinner. The ship's cook has prepared salmon, just like Samuel said. A rather generous slice of it, at that. It looks absolutely mouth-watering. The cook, Brandel, also need... it doesn't seem like it's too loud, but also I just want to smooch it down a bit. There we go. The cook, Brandel, has even made sure to garnish it for every crew member, so it really looks the part. Thank you so much, Brandel. The hare looks up from his work, as if surprised to be greeted that way. Have we met? You look new here. I just reported aboard today. That's right. My name's James Kelly. And you know mine already? I hope the rumors haven't been too bad. No, far from it. Samuel's been talking up your cooking, and I couldn't wait. His friendly smile widens into a good-natured grin. Oh, has he now? Well, I think you've just ensured Samuel will have a little extra care put into his next meal. He must be up on deck then? No, he's just over there, actually. I was planning on sitting down with him in a second. You nod over your shoulder in the direction of Samuel and Julian's table. I can take some for him, if you'd like. He shakes his head in response. He's already had his supper earlier, but thank you. Oh, On second thought, maybe I can smuggle him something. Talking me up like that has to be a reward, doesn't it? I'll prepare something on the second plate. He begins doing just that, setting about the task with obvious skill. As far as you were concerned, he could just as easily have been at one of those fancy restaurants you've always heard about. The ones where they have napkins. So, you're one of the new pups? Already making friends, I see. Well, trying to make a good first impression. It's exciting. My first time away from town and all. Ah, wonderful. The enthusiasm never hurts. I'll tell you that much. The work isn't easy, and... He pauses, dropping his voice to a playful stage whisper. I'll let you in on a secret. The food won't always be quite this fancy. They told me that too. Kind of like a last hurrah on leaving port. Indeed. It helps keep everyone's spirits up. On your third week of salt pork, that can be a bit of a challenge. He grins, though. Every bit of him radiates an exuberant cheeriness that, you imagine, must be infectious. But we always manage, and for now, we have fresh fish. But you'll want to mutiny when we get hardtack. Salmon, right? Brandel nods crisply. Handpicked by yours truly this morning. One of the advantages of being in port. Seeing new things, taking in fresh pots, that's pleasant enough. But a market, fresh food, and spices, and the trust of the pursayer to spend his coin, of course. Right, Peruser? Yeah. This is from, right down the street from the harbor. He pauses and rubs his temple, struggling to remember the details. He can't help noticing that he keeps his fingers he's been using away from his fur. It's a subtle touch. Bright yellow house. Thinking really hard. Lovely old lady runs it. Her sons have a fishing boat, and she apparently has the appetite for hare's ears, given how much she chewed mine off. I was like, is there cannibalism in this universe? You know, regular ship, bad things happening aside? Also, fancy shirt. I could swear that was her plan. That her plan was to never let me leave again. He briefly stops to rub his temples and looks over at you, as if to interject into his own sentence. Lovely stories, mind you. Oh, from Gudrid's store? Yes, she's a... You don't get a word out. You don't get out the word treasure before the hair cuts you off excitedly. Gudrid! Right. His excitement is definitely contagious. You decide. I don't know why, but I feel like I'm having a bit of trouble reading this. I don't know why sometimes some visual novels I am able to read well and others not so much, but maybe I'm just tired. Yes, she's a treasure. It's her son and grandson, actually. I've known them for years. I remember when I was a kid, years ago. My mother and I would go there occasionally. She'd always make sure to give me a bite of smoked eel. You smile with memory, and Brandel seems to appreciate it as well. We could never afford to buy it. She just always pushed a little something into my paws. She seems very kind. I'm not surprised, of course. I can't help noticing I didn't get any morsels for free. Oh, well, Kidding. You're pretty sure he's teasing you, given his personality, but he hasn't gotten back to preparing dinner either. It's fine if you set the bar too high for how cute one has to be to earn a bit of eel. You stammer a little. In response, Brandel crosses his arms in front of his chest, playing the part of a grumpy child. I'm sure that's not... No, I'm sure cute enough. Ooh, flirting with the crew already. I haven't even been at sea that far yet. Also, I'm not sure if I would want to have this kind of necklace here with the claws going directly in here, because a good smash of your head down to your chest, and that might be painful. He laughs abruptly. It's a bright, warm giggle. The grumpy affection broken immediately as he resumes work. Oh, I see. None of this is what you expected to be doing on your first day. Not that you minded either. Can I have food? I'm hungry. Well... Fish, though. Yes. Changing the subject, he grabs one of the plates. The sizzling in the skillet intensifies briefly as he pushes the fork into a piece of salmon, setting it on the plate with a flourish. Next, he adds a few stalks of asparagus, and then pours a cream-colored sauce over it, thick enough that it only begins to run when the salmon warms it up. Fish, yes. What's the sauce? Lemon and dill. Nothing fancy, but it's a favorite of the crew when we leave port. Something of a tradition. Man, I don't know too much about, eating at sea, but this seems like super fancy, just saying. Especially for, the regular crew. I'm sure you'll love it. He smiles as he adds a decorative slice of lemon on top of the fish, rounding it all off with a sparkling of fresh herbs and a generously sized piece of bread. I'm sure I will too. It looks absolutely wonderful. It's not too much of an exaggeration even. You take the plate when he hands it over to you, and able to keep from licking your lips with anticipation. He prepares a second plate. A slice of salmon is much smaller, and it's missing the asparagus, but extra food is extra food. Won't always be like this, as I said, but for now, you dine like kings. Or at least... He leans closer, giving you a conspiratorial wink as he hands a plate to you. You doubt Samuel is going to complain. Like servants who have the king's favor. There's a sudden discontented growl from behind you, and you suddenly realize you're not the only person in line. Did Gudrid, or whatever, teach you anything about fish, Bandle, or just how to yammer on like a housewife? I'll apologize for holding up the line. You realize that, of course, you're hardly the only person waiting for food. Oh, sorry, I'm new. Just getting caught up with all the excitement. Not being worked hard enough, you mean? If you're given time for gossip. Your food will be just as carefully prepared and just as fresh. He doesn't seem to be chiding the sailor for his briskness. No, he does seem to be chiding the sailor for his briskness, even as he reassures him. And I should get to preparing it before a brawl breaks out, I suppose. It was very nice meeting you, James. Right, of course. Don't let me keep you. It was nice meeting you, too. Also, I feel like you, out of anyone you don't want to piss off, like, Captain is, like, high on the list, but I think Cook's high on the list, too, you know? With 2 plates, you have to be careful not to spill sauce everywhere as the ship rocks beneath you, but you nod your thanks to the hare as best you can, and give Samuel my regards. As you head off, he turns his attention to the current man behind you. Despite it all, you can tell his upbeat demeanor isn't simply reserved for newcomers. It seems to have won the hungry sailor over too. Balancing as carefully as you can against the rocking ship, you try not to spill anything. You head off. Behind you, you can hear the conversation continuing. It seems to have won the hungry sailor over too. He's not even grumbling by the time they fade out of earshot, with the buzz of other conversations around you. With the meals in hand, you make your way over to the small table where Samuel and Julian are sitting. Yeah? I was just thinking of the thing I, learned between things. They've been joined by 2 other sailors you don't recognize, a falcon and a lynx by the looks of them. 2, eh? Someone's learned to start flirting with Brandy early, or Brandel. We're to be married when you reach harbor. He says I have the hands of a surgeon. The maned wolf regards you skeptically. Chatting with Brandel, wait, was it? Yeah, it was us, okay. Chatting with Brandel has put you in a teasy mood. You let your serious expression drop, only dragging Samuel along for a few seconds. It's for you, actually. Your gushing review of this fine establishment has earned you a bit extra. Here. Yeah, I really need to sometimes when I read things go, don't, pick on all the words. Just read the gist of it, Or as best you can. You hand the plate over to him before you need to maneuver your way towards the seats. He can hardly contain his excitement at getting another turn at the salmon. Well now, maybe it's not off to such a bad start, then is it? See what I mean? Of course, first you have to find a place to sit. Ask if Julian can make some room for you to sit down. Let's go sit next to Samuel. It looks like Samuel seems to have found a less crowded solution. While you have his attention, you indicate the barrel he's sitting on. Do you mind if I come over here? He looks at you, then down at the barrel, and then back up to you. Finally, with a shrug, he scoots off to the side. Wait, we're both sitting on part... Maybe the barrel's on its side, because it's like... I don't know. Barrel topside might be too much. You're welcome to try, anyhow. It's amazing, like, I haven't seen a visual novel move characters around like this. Because they're usually all the same size. And usually when they move, they fade out and fade in. But this game is like... I have to commend them for that. It's like, hey, you got characters in focus, characters out of focus, and then they move about. That's probably taken, like, a bit of technical expertise, There's enough room to fit. Barely. The rest of the group is sitting on a rather makeshift table. Just a plank propped up on top of another, smaller barrel. You notice how the others have to avoid putting any weight on it, lest they topple the whole affair. Of course, sitting on a barrel that the lanky Samuel finds comfortable, you're too high up to make use of the table anyway. Just as you're able to take your first bite, Samuel interrupts you by elbowing you in the side. You manage to avoid spilling any salmon, thankfully. Hey, what was that for? I think there's been a mistake. What? A mistake about what? He nods his head towards your plate, indicating with his muzzle, and a toothy grin. That plate. I think you have mine. We can swap. He's not the only one with teeth. You give him a scowl you figure Wolf would be proud of. Don't you even think about that. You've been talking it up all day. I'm not about to let you keep me from it. The main wolf looks you up and down. No? You narrow your eyes right at him. Just try me. Left goes through the group at your hard-fought defense of the salmon. Samuel grins and relents. Well, it was worth a shot. That's the other new boy. Or that's the other new boy, Sam? That he is. Clambered aboard from port this morning. He's oh, bloody hell. He's James. He gives a snap at his fingers, then points at you, as if the thought had occurred to him at the same time. Yes, that's it. James. Kelly, was it? Knew it was something like that. I just remembered yours. I brought you food and everything. Wait, I remembered yours. I brought you food and everything. He takes a ribbing on this in stride. I swear I can read. And I appreciate that. Don't think nothing by it, James. When he repeats it, he adds a bit of emphasis, as if he might have forgotten it again already. Or James. Always takes me at least twice to remember a name. Wow, he's far better than I am. That's what happens when you get smacked across the noggin a few times, huh? How do we know Torres? Exactly. He gestures at the new speaker, who has been observing the conversation with his hands clasped behind his head. Pretty boy over there is Torres. See? And I remembered that one straight away, didn't I? Yeah, now he's in focus. Leaning against one of the ship's timbers, he looks quite relaxed, despite the vessel's constant shifting and rolling. Are we just, like, surrounded by nobles? Just saying. These guys have fancy clothes. So you did. Next, the main wolf points to the lynx who's first inquired about you. And this is Conrad. Got that? Too. Thank you very much. Having been introduced, the lynx leans over to face Samuel, apparently not inclined to give him any credit for that achievement. Not pretty, though. Or not pretty, though, eh? I thought we were friends, Sam. He smirks, the flickering candlelight, I swear I can read, giving his eyes a particularly keen glint. I haven't seen you in women's clothing yet, have I? Maybe my opinion will change then. That's a compliment you have to work for. I'll pass it on then. The main wolf shrugs, and there's a few good-natured chuckles from around the table again. He rolls his eyes and stands up, leaning over the table to offer you a firm handshake. Your hands meet with an audible clasp, and he makes no effort to hide his strength when he grips you. Welcome aboard, lad. His grip is a little too firm. You're grateful when he leaves you a second or two later. When he releases you a second or two later. And even more grateful when you manage to avoid wincing. The falcon next to Julian stays where he is, but nods to greet you. So anyway, you realize that you must have interrupted some conversation. You perk one ear to listen as you regard your salmon, preparing to dig in. Hold on, I want to watch this. Samuel is focused on his own plate. The others, though, are all focused on you. He glances around at them. What? Are you planning on eating that? You were so caught up in talking to Brandel that you never bothered to think about that. Looking around, you see that the others all have utensils already. Oh, was that something we're supposed to ask Brando for? The main wolf looks up from his food and grins at you. Hey, That's a good question. That is a good question. I guess just ask where the others got forks from? Yeah. A little awkwardly, you push the plate away so that it's clear that you will never do such gonch thing as eat salmon with your fingers. I don't know. That's a good question. I didn't see any forks or knives when Brando was handing out the food. And you didn't think to bring your own? You knew they fed us, right? I hoped. They didn't give us orientation or anything. I didn't think to ask. We're all fresh meat once, I guess. Julian? His plate is already clean. So is the fork he was using, you notice. He produces a rag from his pocket and scrubs the utensil again, and then hands it across the table over to you. Here you go. I need it back, though. You take the fork with a nod. Thank you. Who do I ask about getting one? Where did you get this from? Fishing school. Julian rolls his eyes. No. Silver, isn't it? No. Silver-plated brass. It's still got silver in it. God, you are impossible sometimes. I bought my mess kit before I report on board. I was warned about that in advance, at least. It does seem rather elegant, and by this point, you're too hungry to care about whose fork you're using. Brando has prepared the salmon as excellently as you might have guessed. It falls neatly apart at the touch of your fork. The smooth taste of the fish spreads across your tongue. He was right. The sauce is an absolutely perfect accomplishment. That's good. You realize, that's good? Yeah, that good. You realize you'd sat up straight, reflexively. Your ears perked up, as if all of your senses could focus on the meal itself. It's absolutely fantastic. The main wolf, who has gotten briskly back to work on his own second helping, pauses and snickers. It's a fork that does it. But anyway, where were we? Right, you were saying, Jules? Caught up in your mission of delivering Samuel's food and the affair with the fork, you had scarcely realized that Julian was in the middle of a story. Was in the middle of a story. Right, so they locked the door to the storage, as they do every night. My goddamn heart was beating like crazy. At once, he jumps back to where he must have been when you joined. The narrative quickly falls back into place. I was sure he'd be able to hear it across the room. One friend had such an idiotic hiding place right behind the door, if you can believe that. I could see his stupid eyes all wide open, bright as the moon. He uses his hands to open his eyes as wide as he can, by the way of demonstration. Next to him, Taurus chuckles. I mean, the guard was right next to him. As he continues the story, you turn to the main wolf next to you, whispering quietly, Sam, this is really good. Told ya. Julian is too wrapped up in the story to notice you're aside. But it worked, somehow. The luck of fools, isn't that what they say? Better than none at all. The lizard retorts, and then continues his story, while his fork is in your hands, provides its own accomplishment. Anyway, there we were, nobody but the three of us, all the supplies in the fort, and the whole night left. Dear Lord, Julian, you must have been bored as a kid. As Lutz turns around to Torres, an animated gesture emphasizes words. You have no idea. It was dreadful whenever our family was stationed there. Uh-huh. The Falcon seems patiently unconvinced, or patently. You think it would have been every boy's dream to play soldier in a real fort, right? He shakes his head dramatically. Worst fucking place for it. Everyone gets their Snickers in a knot, ooh-woo. Discipline here, orders there. That. I swear, you'd think us children were supposed to be drilling too, just like our brave, spit-polished fathers. Spit and polished fathers? Speaking of which, did yours ever find out? While you wait for Julian's answer, you turn to the asparagus, slicing a long piece in half with your fork. You drop half of it into your mouth. It's not as striking as a salmon, perhaps, but the fact remains that Brando does marvelous work. The main wolf lowers his voice while Julian keeps talking. Could I? He points to the other stalks of asparagus on your plate, which have remained untouched. Have one of them, by any chance? Man, I could say one. Or trade for some salmon? I'd do that, middle of the road. You're surprised he has any left, but the main wolf nods willingly. Some salmon? Deal. Here, take some. He holds his plate close to yours, so they can take a bit of fish in exchange. During the exchange, you, of course, manage to dip some of the sauce on your clothes. Nothing that a quick wipe with your thumb can't fix, however, and Samuel is more distracted by the vegetables. Thank you, James. I've always loved Brando's asparagus. He says it like he's confiding a secret in you. It's quite lovely, but I'm more partial to fish. We didn't manage to get much of that growing up. Oh right, that makes some sense. He's very good at salmon too, of course, but fresh vegetables? He sighs happily and gets back to work on them. Your attention is captured once more as the other conversation breaks in laughter. I'm serious. You don't think I've got a raise for my mess kit? What? You mutter the question softly to Samuel, who shakes his head. It's Julian. I'm sure they're talking about shaving everyone again. He does, indeed, seem to be doing just that. Don't think shaving you is just some idle threat. He playfully punches the air in front of him. Why, how often have I been surrounded by one of your like, mincing me with their pelts and their fleas. But, like that, 1, 2, like a ferocious cornered beast, I strike. He pantomimes the act of shearing, about with more enthusiasm than skill, leaving nothing behind but a shorn and whimpering men. Shorn? He means shaved, idiot. You lot of uncultured boars. Well, as I said, if the sharpness of my tongue doesn't get you, the sharpness of my razor will. Looking around, he finds nothing but shaking heads. You still don't believe me? No, it's just that it might be the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. Astonishing, Jules. Not to mention, don't you know how stupid it is to reveal your plans? Guess he's going straight overboard now, if his beard goes missing. I'll blame it on James. What? Julian grins broadly, his scales shimmering in the warm lamplight. See? Look at him. Too confused in the moment to even think of a defense. He didn't even have a fork. Where did he get shears or a razor or anything? This alibi doesn't delay the lizard for more than a second before he beams wider. Aha! For my mess kit, which he's already learned to raid, seeking my cutlery. It's a perfect plan. You know there are witnesses, right? We were having perfectly civilized discussion about vegetables when he started going off about your razors. So, who do you think anyone's gonna believe? You or me? Alright, maybe it's not the perfect plan, but it's pretty good. And? He dismisses the whole side topic with a wave of his hand. That's not what we were talking about. Right, we're talking about getting your smackable arse kicked for thievery. No, we weren't talking about that either. Was I? Right, the whole night of stuffing ourselves with pontificat cakes, the dried meat they stored, some pastries they already baked for the next day. It looked as some rat had ransacked the place. Having finished his plate, Samuel lifts his hand to interrupt again. On the topic of foolish thing done at night, sorry for butting in again, but I think I'll call it for a day. And I think we might also call it for a day as well, because we're a bit over time and my ability to read is adequate to say the least. So please comment, cause I like comments, damage you like, dislike. Tips, tricks, otherwise, if you like my YouTube and would like to see it grow, then please like, subscribe, and check out the areas to help it grow. And please remember to spay and noodle your animals to help control the pet population. Ooh. And if you want to play this game, it's available for free on itch.io. But if you want to support the people that make this game and or get the newest version earlier, you can go to their Patreon. We're at $6 a month. I mean, it's currently $3 when I just signed up earlier today, but it's like, you know, it's, I don't know, Patreon discount? I don't know. And until next time, on another Let's Play, me, GamerWolfSix of Conway. Thanks and see ya.